I wish the people around me just thought like this. People be so negative all the time, and they don't realize how much their words matter and the things that they say and their attitudes, right? Some people just love the sound of their own voice.
It's not about like someone is actually saying, but more so who is saying it and why.
Y'all gotta be more self-aware of how you are being perceived. People can tell you're not a good listener or something. Y'all gotta learn how to listen more and listen for the sake of hearing and listening to what the other person is saying, what they actually mean, what emotions are tied to their words, and what the outcome is.
What do people gain from talking to me?
People that make more money, they listen more than they talk. If he's having a conversation that is extremely pointless, he will walk away. He will just walk away from a conversation that's not worthy of his time. How do you have this much time on your hands to call people and ask them dumb questions? Isn't that interesting? What is a podcast at the end of the day? Something that's like an organic conversation. You're just a fly on the wall. And you're back with another episode of the Lee Kings podcast. So, no, I'm not gonna make it official or nothing, but you were saying, like, he's teaching you how to calculate cost and what's more efficient and cost effective, right?
Calculate cost, but also work efficiently with what allocated time you have.
Because
so let's say, okay, I have an open window. I have 5 hours. There's 4 projects that I need to get done. In this 5 hours, what is the most efficient way? What is the most efficient route? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that depends on like different deadlines, like what work is needed for this, what corners can I cut with this.
Yeah. Because the funny thing about that is just like, with me trying to get you to edit all these podcasts, I tell you to preview, and then final. And it's like, if we do need another revision, then it's like, sheesh, I'm doing the math. Like, you're spending your time, your hours on it, and at a certain point, I'll just finish it, right? So
you're wasting more time than me because I'm just delivering it and you're watching it again, and then I'm going back making the corrections.
Exactly.
So
that's the
really
hardest
time wasted.
Yeah, it's like that's been the hardest thing to hire for, because it's like, imagine reviewing a podcast. Like, bro, it's an hour of my time. And then if I review it once and it's not perfect, I'm going to have to review it again. And now I'm on the lookout for anything that's like not perfect. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. And if I review it a second time, that's 2 hours of my time. But it's like, to review it and pay attention to it, oh my goodness. It requires my undivided attention to really watch out for the mistakes. And I get it. Like, most of these podcasts should just be like done like straight through. I shouldn't really be having to pause the cameras. And funny enough, right? This guy, did CVO stop his camera when he wasn't like sitting there?
When he came back, he stopped it. Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
And did it again. I thought he was going to switch it to him. So a secondary angle on the guest.
That don't make no sense, because here's the funny thing about editing podcasts, right? Like, I need the files to all be the same length. That's why I was trying to start them all at the same time until I buy the machine where it's just bow. It synchronizes all of them, right?
Well, unless you nest them.
No, yeah, and then I'm going to have to nest his camera angle now. So now I'm going to have to nest his camera angle with like some just blank foot. Like, it's so funny, like, he wouldn't have done that if he actually edits the podcast. Ironically, the last video that I watched on YouTube ever was in regards to shutting the fuck up. That is how I would regurgitate it. But it's like, I think it's called The Power of Silence. Like,
it was by Abstract Thoughts or whatever.
I don't know. I don't even know. Look, I watched I was watching Napoleon Hill. I can screenshot this too and drop it.
Is that episode listenable? Like, I don't need to watch it. There's no visual.
No, there's no visual. You just watch it.
I'll listen to it on the drive home.
Yeah. So this morning I woke up and for some reason I was just like listening to Napoleon Hill. I was like, I ain't heard no Napoleon Hill bars in a minute. I need to brainwash myself once again. So I was watching Act Like You Were Meant to Win. And I had to send it to like 3 different people because I was like, oh my goodness, bro. I wish the people around me just thought like this, right? People be so negative all the time, right? And they don't realize how much their words matter and the things that they say and their attitudes, right? Like, that's why I like your positive attitude, like you're bulletproof. You can take constructive criticism and not even flinch. Like, you know what I mean? As long as you're actually listening, which is different than hearing what I'm saying. You can hear what I'm saying, but you got to listen. And then listening is when you apply the knowledge that you've heard, you take the feedback and you implement it and do something slightly different and improve upon the new information that you receive, right? You can't ask questions for no reason and just like go about your day, right? But it went from Napoleon Hill to later in my day, my algorithm is changing and it's like, hey, what about this? Do you like this? So it's like this title, which I screenshot, it says Shut Up and Win by Machiavelli, right? Now, I don't know if this video is AI generated and it's just probably like some literature that somebody is, using 11 Labs or Speechify to like just monetize it and whatever, but it's 22 minutes and it was straight bars, 22 minutes of straight bars of like, and it was like, man, I wish my homies heard this because to a degree, it's like, man, people don't realize like having an ego isn't all that. You know what I mean? And if people don't realize that they are not self-aware, right? They don't realize like they're talking too much. They're giving away, they're just like, they're volunteering information, right? That's so unnecessary, right? Because people that make more money or higher level income, more intelligent people in general, it's not even about money, right? They listen more than they talk. There's an art form to that, right? And I feel like I'm this way only because of the books that I've listened to and read, right? And those principles just stuck with me. It's like you can't hear this sort of stuff and then forget not to apply it. There's 48 Laws of Power and all that. That's a very boring book, by the way, 48 Laws of Power. But I had to actually, it's hard to read. I'm not going to say it's boring. It's just hard to read and sit through. But there's laws of the universe that if you implement, you'll have a slight advantage in life. But I'm trying to stick to my point because I'm talking about the power of the tongue and talking too much. And I can tend to be long-winded, but it is what it is. The point where I'm trying to make to land this plane, right? Ultimately, you got to always be aware of what you're saying and how your words matter to other people. Some people just love the sound of their own voice. And they don't even realize it. And it's just like, not everybody loves the sound of your own voice. Oh my God, you keep talking. When are you going to get to the point where you're going to shut up? When are you going to like, and then they sometimes say things that just don't benefit anything, or they'll ask a question and they get the answer, but the answer doesn't even benefit them. And it's just like, why did you ask that question in the first place? You just forced me to think about the answer to answer you, not to be rude and not to ignore you. And it's just like, got to be self-aware. So everything you say has to have a point to it. And then a lot of your words should be transactional in the way that how is the other person benefiting from speaking to you at all times, every time, right? So when I hop on a call when I meet somebody for the first time, do I just tell them everything about me? Sometimes I'll be getting sold too. Somebody might want me to buy something from them and they're like, hey, tell me your pain points. Tell me about your business. And I'm just like, I've learned to start to like, let me try and get this other person to talk first. Listen to this video that I sent you and it's going to explain. Have you ever heard the quote, the person that speaks first loses? Have you ever heard that?
Something like that. I've heard like the person who makes the least amount of moves is the one in the power position. It's
like that with speech as well.
It's kind of similar.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I wish I could regurgitate and repeat a lot of this stuff that this one video on YouTube was talking about. But essentially it was saying like, yeah, there's people that they just talk. They like, even in the movies when the villain goes on that long monologue explaining their evil plans, and everybody's just looking at him like, oh my God, when are you gonna get to the point? Just shoot me already. Oh my God. Like, so it's one of those. Like, they don't realize, it's like, are you self-aware? Like, yeah, you're justifying your villainous ways, and then the hero of the movie escapes or solves it because this person just revealed their whole plans or whatever. Like, but if you're hard to read, then you have the advantage sometimes, right? So can't always just put it all out on the table, but like, let's say I'm having a conversation, I'm meeting somebody for the first time. I'm typically starting off by asking them the right questions based off of information that's valuable to me, right? I'm trying to get to them, go know them first, right? Know what their pain points are first. I got to figure out what matters to them before I just engage into a conversation where they probably are not engaged in that conversation. They don't give a fuck about what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Never assume that somebody cares about whatever you're talking about, at least in a given time. You know what I'm saying? There's a time and place for every conversation, but it's just like, is it the time right now? What is this person going through, right? Like the last person I invited on the podcast, I was like, pull up. You pulling up? She's like, I probably got to do it next week. I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, you're not nervous, are you? I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? My intention, want to get her on the podcast. But then she hit me back like, oh, I'm sort of going through something right now. It's private. I was like, oh shit, I had no idea, right? I had my...
Probably she just doesn't want to be on.
Well, no, I think she wants to be on. But the thing is, she has some real life shit going on I wasn't even aware of.
Maybe. Yeah.
But had I kept talking and trying to convince her to fucking pull up, like, oh, fuck, how you feel? You might be fucking sick, had a migraine and everything. Like, I had my agenda, but she's a real human being. That's got to be considered. So I had to listen. And I said, hey, hope you're getting through whatever you're going through. Like, whenever you're ready, you're invited. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. But a person that don't listen, they'll only be thinking about themselves with their own ego and blah, 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 blah. Like, they'll keep going and keep trying to make the sale, right? Some people just suck at listening, right? So at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to, like, make a solid point, but it's no small way to summarize it, ironically, when I'm just like, be very selective with your words. But I'm hoping more people can gain something from that. Like, when it comes to asking a question, learn moderation when asking questions and know that you are being judged. Like, people are perceiving you as, like, based off of the questions you ask, it shows your level of intelligence, because it's just like, when you don't know something, you make it obvious you don't know something. No, there's no such thing as a dumb question, but it's in context of, like, did this person guess? Did they even ask themselves first, or did they even try to figure it out on their own, right? That would expose, like, either ignorance or of lack of trying, a lack of, dang, like, how'd you learn how to walk? Oh my God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was everything, you know what I mean? Like,
someone who asks good questions and is a good listener is only going to ask questions when it's necessary to do so.
100%. 100%. When necessary to do so. And then, like, they'll actually think.
And they're good at knowing when it's necessary to do so.
Yeah. And they'll think. And before I ask a question, sometimes I'll think, what is the other person going to say? Like, I will really consider, based off of their personality, their traits, their ego, their whatever I know about my history with them, what are they going to say, right? And I'll factor that in. And then I'll make sure I word my question in a way to get the real answer, not the surface level answer that they're probably going to give me. And sometimes, even when I'm speaking to people, like, for example, just straightforward, like, I know what this person's probably going to say, right? And I know that this person is like, I'll know they're inconsiderate to the answer that I'm going to give them. Like, they're not going to understand it. They're almost going to choose not to understand it. And it's just like, psh, okay, how can I word this in a way? I know, here's another thing about questions, right? There's two people that did this, right? This guy asked me a question related to business funding.
What was the question?
He was just like, hey, so I can't even remember it exactly, but he was like, hey, so like, should I do this first or that first? Because if I do, I just really need to know. Right? So if I do this, will I get this result? He asked this question in January. All right. So out of the blue, I'm busy going about my day. At this person, I consider this person a VIP at one point. He knows I'm gonna pick up the phone for him anytime, right? You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. He calls me random morning, I'm not expecting this call. Hey, so like, hey, if I do this and I do that, this will happen, right? I'm just like, And I'm thinking, I'm thinking, this is about the third time this guy's asked me this question. So it's like 3 to 4 months later, he's asking the same exact question. What do you think I'm gonna do? Do I give him the same answer?
It's not take him seriously.
I'm not gonna give him the same answer, but I'm like, okay, so you obviously didn't listen to the first time I gave you the answer. You didn't take that information and run with it and actually go get the result. So you're still on square one. You didn't listen to my advice, and so all right, cool. Now I got to give you a different answer. I got to give you an answer that it's like you'll end up at the same square, but it's just like I got to reword it for you. All right, cool. So I give him a slightly different answer to take action on, and then guess what he says? He's like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, because I asked you this before, and you said something else." I was like, "Okay, so you're telling me you asked me a question I already gave you the answer for." And so you already know the answer. Not only you already know the answer, you remember the answer I already gave you. And then you call my phone and ask the same question? Like, what are you undercover? Like, trying to see if my story changed? Do you doubting my information? Do you think trying to see if I'm lying? What is the point of asking me the same question? And now you're taking up my time, my valuable, non-refundable time to answer this question, abusing it because you know I'm gonna pick up the phone for you. Like, it was the weirdest thing ever. So now we're having a conversation. We've already wasted 3 minutes. Now we're wasting another 5 minutes to figure out why he just asked me this dumbass question. Because now it's officially a dumb question because you have the answer to. You didn't act on it the first time. And the fact that you're asking me again, you're definitely not about to act on it this time. So it's just like, how do you have this much time on your hands to call people and ask them dumb questions, right? Isn't that interesting? It's like they have all the time in the world, and it's just like, guy, you're wasting time. You know what I mean? So it's like a person that doesn't respect their time will call you and waste your time, and that is low vibrations. That is low poverty activity. A person that doesn't waste their time. I was watching some sort of podcast about somebody that's really close to Elon Musk, like a close personal relationship or whatever, or just they do business together. And he was describing how Elon Musk manages his time and operates and this and that because he has a lot of things going on.
Doesn't sleep.
Right. I heard that he will just walk away from a conversation that's not worthy of his time. He's probably making $800 every second of his life on autopilot. It's just, no, it's literally like, bow, 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 bow. How many people are going in Tesla dealerships as we speak?
That's funny you say that because it's like you're trying to convert rich people money to poor people terms. Like 800 an hour.
It's just
the hour.
No, he doesn't think about it. Whatever he's thinking about is worth the time. That his literal second is worth 800, right?
Not really. It's just that's a funny way to put it.
I mean, how would you put it?
Like Elon Musk is not walking around thinking how much money did I earn today.
No, I'm not saying that's why he doesn't waste his time, but the amount of money is a simple byproduct of the value of his brain and the way he operates and whatever he's able to put together. This is a funny
way to put it though. Like here, poor people, this is how to understand it.
Yeah, that's what I'm putting it in layman's terms
per
or whatever.
Hour of labor.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like for every second that goes by, his actual, I don't want to say his net worth or whatever, but it's like money is being generated based off of things that he's done in life, right? So all I'm saying, I'm only bringing him up to mention the idea that if he's having a conversation that is extremely pointless, he will walk away. Not to be rude, but most people will consider that rude and abnormal or weird or what the hell? He didn't sign my autograph. What the hell? Like, and that's, I want to get to that point where I can just walk away from a conversation mid-sentence. Like, I'll be having consultation calls or something where it's like, I just been wanting to cut people off. Like, hey, you called me to work on some business funding. Do you have a business? And then they'll start telling me about their nonprofit and about how they just got out of jail and how they want to do this. And then their parents use their credit and all this stuff. I'm just like, I'll be wanting to cut people off, but it's just like, I don't want to be rude because I'm a chill guy. You know what I'm saying? But
well, I think in the position, most people do that. He walks away. I'll give you an example. Like if you're walking on the street and some homeless guy starts asking for money, most people are not even going to acknowledge or anything. Just walk by. Exactly how you're describing Elon Musk just walks straight by you, right?
Correct. So it's like...
I mean, everyone does that.
Yeah.
You know?
But imagine, okay, now I got to be concerned with that person getting offended by me just walking away mid conversation.
Okay,
and that because those type of people that don't realize they are wasting time, which is actually rude, because that's not refundable. You can like, even if you like, it's very on the same page as scamming people out of their money, which money you can make money back. But time, that is a one-way direction.
Yeah, I feel like with that thing you said, like Elon Musk walking away from people, like there's no difference between you and him in that. There's certain investors that he talks to, high-profile people, that he's not gonna walk away from mid-convo.
I feel like he would. He has all the leverage in the world.
He might do that to like some random Tesla employee. You know?
I feel like he would do that.
No,
I feel like he would do that to Jeff Bezos if they were on a stage or whatever. They're having a debate or something like.
There's people he talks to that have more power than him easily.
Yeah, I'm sure
that he would never in a million
But he has a
years
mutual
walk
respect.
away
Here's
from.
the thing: like, I'm sure he wouldn't walk away
There's
from
no difference
Trump
with
or
you
something
or
like.
me.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, certain people, they just don't get it, and it's just you're not going to connect with most people. But this is a conversation about people lacking self-awareness, because part of self-awareness is being respectful of other people's time and being aware of how you are being perceived at all times. It's the reason why you brush your teeth in the morning. You don't want to be having a conversation and be like having bad breath. Like, that is a form of being rude. Or, you know, sometimes I be wanting to have these PSA. Like, I just want to get this thought off. I don't have everything figured out, but I will regurgitate these audiobooks to y'all and put it in layman's terms or whatever. But y'all got to be more self-aware of how you are being perceived. And sometimes people can tell you're not a good listener or something. Y'all got to learn how to listen more and listen for the sake of hearing and listening to what the other person is saying, what they actually mean, what emotions are tied to their words, and what the outcome is, right? Some people just be talking. Right? I was on a mentorship call when I was walking in. I was on Zoom. This lady just kept on going, trying to describe something that she wanted, but she couldn't land the plane. It was just like, what is your end goal? What is your end result? You know what I mean?
What was she yapping about?
She was just like, hey, I work for this guy, and he's a great guy, and I want people to see his greatness, and blah, 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 blah. And like, she kept going for like 3 minutes straight, but there's literally 144 people on this call, right? Now, she had the mic. It was her turn to speak, but it's just like, what is your end goal? Because she didn't land the plane. It was just like, she just wanted people. So let's say people see the greatness that you see in your business partner. What do the other people gain from seeing the greatness? Like, they get to breathe in his aura. Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Right? And no offense to this lady as well. But it's just like, I want you to even start to think like that. What do people gain from speaking to me at all times? when I shoot this podcast, I'm always thinking about what can somebody gain from watching this podcast? Why is it even worth their time for sitting for 50 minutes? Or, I wanted to make the podcast 85 minutes. But what, is it going to be worth their time from start to finish to watch the podcast? Right? I'm self-aware.
I never asked that question about myself. Like, what do people gain from talking to me? But I oftentimes I think about, I ask that question about other people. Like, what do you gain from talking to me?
Right.
I ask that all the time. Like, this is so funny. There's this interesting character. There's this guy at my gym, right? There's like a bunch of people I talk to at my gym, right? Like just gym friends, right?
Yeah.
I'll come in and talk to him. And there's this one guy. He's like way older. He's like early 40s. And he works some pretty high paying like corporate job.
Yeah.
Like he manages like little under 1,000 people that he's above. Not manages, like micromanages, but like in terms of a corporate hierarchy.
Ranking, yeah.
He's above like a bunch, like 800 people, he told me, right?
Sheesh.
It's a pretty prestigious like position, right? This corporate position.
Yeah.
But he talks to me all the time, but he'll it's so funny. He talks to me about generative AI, right? Because me and him talk about him a lot.
Yeah.
I guess he knows a little bit more about me. He works in some sort of like tech solutions company, and he works with generative AI. And he came to me one day and he was asking me specifically, he was like I wanted to ask you this question. Like, this is an issue that I've had like in my business, like in terms of like management about generative AI. And he asked me for like what my response would be. And I gave him a good response.
You remember the question and the response?
It was pretty specific. It was like, you don't need he didn't tell me, he never really explained to me what his actual business is or what he does, but it's not really necessary. He kind of said, so he kind of led it with, you know what Midjourney is?
Yes.
The AI,
yes.
The image generating algorithm. Yeah, I was showing him shit on this and he was like, okay, so Vincent, you generated this photo of this blonde girl, right, that you showed me. And he was like, let's say I have 10 of you and you need all 10 of you, all 10 Vinces are tasked, all 10 of you are tasked with generating similar stuff, right? And he was like, how could I make it so that I can tell all 10 of you to generate this photo of this girl without all 10 of you having to type in your own prompt to generate it? You know what I mean? And my suggestion was like, okay, well, you'd have to have another machine learning algorithm, a smaller one for the bigger one that would be tasked with, how do I say this? Basically as like a database, right? So say like, okay, all 10 of us, we want to generate a photo of this like blonde white girl and it's in a studio, right? But that image was already generated.
Right.
So it's like, okay, we'll attach a new machine learning algorithm, which is like a search for a database. You type in girl and it'll pop up some results.
Right.
Like more specific, like white girl studio. Oh, there it is. There you go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, well, that's what I was thinking. That's one of the solutions I was thinking about. But he asked me this question.
Out of anybody he could have asked.
Yeah.
And being in such, and that's interesting.
He goes to the gym, and I joked with him too. I'm like, so you're going to go back to the meeting and you're going to say, oh, all right, guys, so this 20-year-old at my gym explained
hey, man, I heard that.
Solution.
Look, that's why that's why I don't be asking people their age. You know what I'm saying? Like Elon Musk even has a 20-year-old on his team. Have you heard of him?
Well, what team? Like
the Doge team or whatever. But I heard there's this guy.
Team?
Yeah.
Oh, Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, I heard this guy. I think his name is Big Balls.
What?
Pause, but literally. But like he's like some young kid that's like cleaning up the government and making it more efficient. But it's just like I feel like there's stuff that I can learn from you as well. I feel like you might have taught me something since we've been working together. But it's just like, definitely. Yeah, man.
I mean,
yeah, man. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like, at the end of the day, age is like sometimes irrelevant, but there's times when you can show your age, right? And it all boils down to self-awareness, because your brain fully develops, they say around like 25 or whatever, but like depending on what trauma you've been through and the chapters of your life and the characters in your life, you can mature hell of a lot faster, right? And then your top 5 circle that you hang around, they'll help you mature a lot faster. If you're around a bunch of millionaires, you'll be a millionaire. If you're around a bunch of bum ass niggas, I mean, shit, you're gonna be a bum ass nigga number 5. But I try and be cautious of who I stay around, right? So I'm cautious. Like I said, I want you in a circle because I can be myself around you. I can just be blunt as I want to be, and you won't get offended. Because you know my intentions is not to offend you. I want to see you become the best version of yourself, right? I'm like, dang, that's refreshing. Like this constructive criticism, cool. I don't think I'm the best in the world or whatever, like, but I know the level I'm at that I want to see you surpass that, right? So that's a good trait about you.
Yeah, well, the thing about like receiving criticism is like the main filter I use, right? How I approach is like it's not about like what someone is actually saying, but more so who is saying it and why.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean?
Took the words out of my mouth. Everything has context. Damn. You hit it right on the nail, man. Like, how can you possibly get offended, right, from the words of a complete stranger? That's one example. That's like one example, right? Like, well, it can happen. You can run into somebody that's like on the sidewalk, just calls you out your name. Like, yeah, you could get offended. I'm not saying, so getting offended is one thing. It's like an action, right? But to choose to let it upset your day, right? You go in defense mode and you get in a physical altercation with this person. You start going back and forth, right? Or do you just stare at the person and then go back, you just go back into your own world? Like some people are just like animals, right? You just like no different than.
Yeah, I'll give you some funny example. It's like
Break it down.
This happened like a couple months ago. Like I got into some like stupid internet beef with someone. I was like trolling them, like some kid my age on Snapchat.
Right.
So in response, they made like a fake Instagram account, and it was so. I found it hilarious. I'm like, how could you imagine this to be hurtful to someone? Like they made a fake Instagram account and like used my name, in like my profile photo,
Wow.
and like the description was like, hi, my name is Vince and I'm really gay, and I remember the ending. It was like, and my directing is shit, because I put like my bio.
So
says,
somebody
my
was
title on
intentionally
Instagram.
trying to like use your likeness and like just tear you down.
Yeah, and they were like DMing me. Like,
Do you have any bad karma out there? I mean, like, did you like?
no, no, but like I know who it was.
Oh, you know who it was.
Oh yeah, because they like got pissed off and then like unadded me, and then like 5 minutes later I received that notification. So
That's hilarious.
No, but it's like, but they said they just saw that my bio or my Instagram title said like music video director, and they said like, hi, I'm Vince and I'm super gay and my directing is shit.
How did they get in?
But when I hear that, right, when I see that, like, my directing is shit, it's like, okay, well, who's it coming from? Some idiot, like, and why are they saying it?
Right.
Just to try and say something negative onto me.
Exactly.
So when I read that, I just find that funny.
It doesn't. It couldn't affect you, right?
Like, well,
And then these days, people are
There's no
so
validity.
offended. Yeah, there's no validity
Like,
to that statement. So how could you get offended when it's like, it just like me, like I pride myself on doing like fair business, right? There's nobody that can come on and say like, I scammed them or I ripped them off. Like there would be no validity to that, like at all.
yeah.
Right? So it's just like, I'm even waiting for the day, right? It's like, I do good business. I believe in karma, right? It's my opinion. Like I do business. I'm waiting for the day somebody can tell me about myself. Like, hey, I feel like you could have done this better or whatever, but for the most part, I'm as fair as could be, right? But a rumor is a rumor, gossip is gossip. And like, depending on your ego, like you don't get easily offended by everything that's said about you, right? So I feel like there's two different type of people. People that get like super offended, and there's like, I call them like snowflakes. I mean, this generation is sort of weird, bro. Like, I don't even know what to call them. But one day, oh my goodness, one day, it was actually my dream to create a version of a podcast where I am extremely blunt. I feel like it would be borderline therapeutic, but the goal would be to be like, it would be like an offensive, like, theme. Like, I hope you get offended. It's one of those things where if the shoe fits, wear it, right? And I'll just be like speaking some truth based on my opinion, but like maybe like universal common sense, right? Because I feel like this day and age, like common sense be pissing a lot of people off. I think it'll make for a lot of good topics, but I do have a vision of one day, I'll probably like shoot that podcast from the crib, but like going not on these rants, but like having these monologues where it's like, I'm just keeping it real. And if you get offended by what I'm saying, one, I want you to like and subscribe so you can tune in for the next episode and get even more pissed off because you're just, you know, you have too much time in your hands getting offended by some random guy on the internet you never met, right? So that is an idea for like my next podcast idea, which I'm probably doing it right now. But ultimately, having just a show where I can just speak my mind, because sometimes I want to touch on like some political topics. Sometimes I want to just do a reaction channel where I'm reacting to like popular stuff that's happening in the news and things that seem like common sense to me. And even like my opinions on like dating and those dynamics and stuff like that. I be wanting to put my 2 cents on the internet too and then monetize off of it, obviously. But like, man, I feel like that'd be an interesting concept that I feel like I'm gonna execute it in the near future. But it's if the shoe fits, wear it. But I'll have like a disclaimer in the beginning of the videos, like the views and like and expressions of what you're about to hear. It's like maybe if I can play a character.
Within the past year, what's the biggest thing you learned?
I want to say I was excited that credit was able to be the one thing that I didn't require luck to get the things that I wanted. Like I can calculate it now. And it's just math, right? Imagine if I learned stocks. Oh my God, that would be amazing. So the L's that I took recently exposed me to the possibility like God giveth, God can take away. I've always been aware of that, but it's just like, it's not that I was on a winning streak, but it's the idea that, damn, what did I do wrong? Sometimes it's just,
What did you take away?
I still to this day didn't feel like I did anything wrong. And sometimes life just happens. And I try to have enough like backup plans. Like not backup plans, that's the wrong way to say it. But like I try and put things in place where I don't fall on my face. Like for every car that I own, I have enough capital stored to just pay off the car or something, or I would never miss a payment. I have checks and balances in place, right? But the idea that something could just happen so unexpected that, and I take responsibility for everything that happens in my life. It's my fault, right? But it's just like, there's certain things that I cannot even explain that may happen to me that is against what I got going on, and I have to deal with it. Now, it's strange to say, I don't want to be too specific. I would say just something happening to me, right? The example would be basically like if something unfortunate happens that's just outside of your control, how do you deal with it? right? So like, as I've accumulated more money, I remember the first time like I just received like a lot of deposits. It was like very noticeable. Like I used to be broke as fuck. But then like I started getting used to tens of thousands of dollars. But just is just like business as usual. This isn't nothing special. Right? But and it's like it wasn't like it wasn't like necessarily like profit. It was just literally like business volume increasing and just business picking up. But I would notice more and more problems that I wasn't familiar with happening, almost perfectly in sync with the amount of money, right? I was just like, what is happening? Like, why is this happening?
You hit like $15,000 deposit and the same day like your furnace breaks or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
I was noticing that more and more and more. Like month to month, I would have a positive month, and then like I would be tested. I would get tested by a force that I couldn't. I was like, why is this happening? Why can't I just be on a winning streak?
And it's a pattern.
Yeah. And that's what most people aren't really ready for.
I don't believe like most people have the means to run and operate like some sort of successful business.
That's true. That's why there's only 1% of people that, have over $5,000. Did you know that?
What do you mean of all people where? In the world? Most
Yes.
definitely.
Like 1% of people have $5,000 to do.
Well, probably 40% of the world's in poverty, so.
Yeah.
Remember you talking to that one girl here, right, for the vlog?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, there's a lot of businesses I want to get into. Like, I had an idea about, like, starting, like, a bakery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, did you even run that through your mind? What? Like, what? Like, yeah, so I'm going to rent out a space and then, like, sell baked goods. How could you scale that? How in the world could you scale that?
No, you can scale that. I mean, have you heard of, like, Debbie's or whatever?
Like a chain? Like a bakery chain?
No, have you heard of, you know what Lil Debbie is, right? Like Debbie? Like,
oh, yeah. Like the little cakes?
Yeah. That's how she could scale it.
It's not...
You ever heard of Hostess? What do you think they started?
I think that's not...
You're about to say not realistic?
I think when you bring up
you
those
gotta
examples...
You gotta start somewhere. Where do you think they started? Like, KFC started in a kitchen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they start somewhere, right? So what is your argument for that?
Like when you brought up like Little Debbie's, right? This brand that sells like these shitty cakes.
Yeah,
treats,
diabetes.
Right? It's less so about making like these little treats and then scaling it to a large scale. It's about just scaling it itself in that business. I'll give you an example, right? Coca-Cola, you know the brand Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
What kind of business actually is it? Would you say they sell soda?
They sell sugar.
No, it's a logistics company.
No, they sell sugar. They sell sugar. That's like you're trying to say McDonald's is a real estate corporation because they own the land.
Yeah, because here's the thing: if Coca-Cola was like, okay, drop the bottles, you're not selling these sugary drinks anymore. They could sell anything else and be just as successful. It has nothing to do with the drinks. Coca-Cola is literally the world's most successful logistics company. Literally anywhere in the world except for North Korea, Coca-Cola has figured out a way to develop a facility there and get it delivered there. Like literally in Mexico, it's so popular there. These Coca-Cola trucks are delivering orders to places that don't even have addresses.
Really?
Like Coca-Cola is actually the most successful logistics company. So it's less so about making up a soda and then selling that soda to everyone. It's more so just like, okay, we have this plan to deliver products to anywhere in the world. What the fuck are we going to deliver? It could be sodas.
But it didn't start.
If Coca-Cola
But it didn't start
sodas,
there. Did it start there?
Yeah, but I think that is the ultimate factor, is that business side of it. When you really think about it, it's not really a soda company. It's literally a logistics company. That's what they're good
No,
at.
no, but they didn't start a
Yeah, but
logistics company.
if Coca-Cola was like, hey, we're going to get rid of this sugary drinks tomorrow, just kick it to the curb, right?
Their stock prices would plummet.
Yeah, but I'm saying like with how they're running their business, right? Like they could replace it with anything. They could replace it with like
That's your opinion,
chocolate
but
cookies
it's
and
like
scale it to that
like
level.
yeah, that's your opinion, but it's just like, what are they known for? They've developed a brand for selling sugary water. Like that's it. They know what they're good for a reason. They built that up. They have compounded like interest in their brand or whatever. So it's like, I get what you're saying,
Yeah,
but you're making that example just because they're powerful and they could pivot.
Factor,
They could pivot.
right?
Yeah, you're talking about pivoting if they decide to, but it's just like that might not even work out.
Like the
how you
CEO
think
of
it.
Coca-Cola, he doesn't know jack shit about the recipe, or like he doesn't care what it tastes like,
Right.
or like
Yeah, he's probably smart not to.
He doesn't talk to soda makers all day. Like, how do you make a delicious soda? No,
I think he does. I
think
think he does. I think he probably does. You know, get
Maybe
the surveys.
to some extent, like he knows what he's selling, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what the business is about. It's a logistics company. He sits down. Okay,
Well,
how do
even
we
logistics.
get these bottles to this remote location in the middle of nowhere and have it be profitable? It's not about soda. It isn't.
I beg to differ. It's an interesting
It's
concept.
a logistics company. That's what it is. That's what they're good at. And it's insane. It's literally next level. They have facilities across the world. And they employ locals, right?
Right.
And they figured out to deliver their bottles anywhere. Literally anywhere. I think Coca-Cola is in every country except North Korea. Probably Russia now, maybe. I think they're still in Russia.
Yeah, they're super huge.
They figure it everywhere. You can literally go to like some remote island in Mexico and they'll have bottles of Coca-Cola. How the fuck did this end up here?
Right.
They don't even have cell service.
Right.
There's no internet. But these bottles ended up here. It's not really about the bottles anymore.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, business just evolves. Business just evolves bigger than the first idea.
So it's like kind of the idea you say like, oh, well, this girl will start a bakery and then so she'll scale the bakery across the nation like Lil Debbie, right? The cakes, right?
Right.
When you're saying that, it kind of, that concept has very little, if anything, to do with baked goods. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but she's just gonna start somewhere. I mean, people just need to start. You know, people. If people thought like you were saying with the Coca-Cola example, they did never get started because they'd be like, oh, we could do this, but we could do that. And then, look, bro, the goal is have your mind made up on one thing and just don't give up on that thing. And then I'm not saying wait, but it's just like just focus, because people are so distracted trying to do multiple things and then they just suck. They just suck at everything.
I think it's less so that, but more so distracted doing nothing.
Yeah. And some people don't even realize that they are doing nothing. Like they're not actually, like they're just wasting time.
There used to be this one kid at my gym I used to kind of be friends with. I don't talk to him anymore, right?
Right.
But he would talk to me all day, like, and I thought he was a smart guy, but I kind of realized he really isn't. He would talk to me all day about like building wealth, right, and all of this stuff and like making money. I'm like, oh, okay, he's like on the right track, right?
Right.
But like his method of doing it was just like 100% manifestation. Like, hey, let me talk to you for a couple hours about manifesting this money, and I have no plan to get there, and it's just gonna happen.
Those are the worst.
So he did not understand this concept. I said, okay, well, how much? He lied about how much he made that year. I asked him, like, okay, how much entered your bank account this year, right? And he's like, he said he wanted to be a millionaire by 22. And I'm like, okay, how much entered your bank this year? He's like, okay, 25,000, right?
Okay.
What about the last year? And he was like, probably like 10,000, right?
Okay. He doubled his money. Okay, it's progress.
Okay, but to go from making 10,000 a year to 20,000 a year,
Mm-hmm. That's
U.S. citizen,
yeah, you
living
double
in Naperville,
right?
That means like you went from lazy to like kind of lazy.
No. He doubles his money. Like I can't even lie.
Okay, sure.
He
That's
does. So imagine if he doubles it every year. He goes from 20 to 40, and then 40 to 80, and then 80 to 160.
Yeah, but
Bow.
I put this to him. I'm like, okay, so working 20 hours a week, you were able to accumulate 25,000 a year, right? And I was like, with your current system, for you to make, he said like some crazy stupid thing, like I want to be a millionaire by 22 or like 23. I'm like, okay, for you to reach 1 million, I was like, you will have to input like 1,000 hours a week into work. How are you gonna do this? And I was explaining to him like, you're gonna have to figure out a method, a way to be 10 times as efficient with your time. That same input, multiply the output 10 times. He just like he couldn't understand that concept.
Oh, he couldn't understand that. Okay,
no, he was just like, oh well, you're kind of you're like invalidating my my manifestation. Like it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they don't understand. You got to disconnect your time. It's like if you can't make money while you sleep, you will work till you die. Right? That is not an original quote. That's just what it is.
What do you mean by that? You're talking about passive income?
I'm talking about if you cannot figure out how to generate income without you literally doing labor, hard labor, physical movement labor, right?
Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying.
Right? You will work until the day that you die and figure it out, right? Like I work with some really, really smart people even right now, right? Like, but zero passive income. Like I don't even want to call it passive. I don't want to call it passive.
Income exists.
No, it does, but it's.
You're not making any passive money.
So it's like
you're active all day.
Yeah. It's something called like. I'm new. I hate to admit it, but I'm a real ass nigga. So it's like I just started. Like I probably sold some ebooks. I'm gonna check my email right now, right? So like I have a digital product. Like people are watching my webinar as we speak, right? I have a digital product. Let me see if I.
Passive.
What do you mean that's not passive?
How long did it take you to set all that up?
Talk about a week because I actually made the actual ebook.
Okay,
like
a week of working your ass off.
Yeah.
And then how much of your time is required to manage that and make sure it's operating?
0.
Well, it's not 0.
0.
Wait, you're still messaging people. You're still
no. I'm talking about just one source of income. It's the ebooks.
Well, yeah, but there's still some work involved. Like clients.
It's a digital product.
Reach out to you.
Yeah, they'll reach out if they have an issue. Hey, I couldn't download the ebook. Now that could be fixed.
Passive.
Okay. Maybe there's a myth about what 100% passive income.
I don't think it exists.
That's what you're saying doesn't exist, right? I'm talking about. I never say. I don't think I've ever like on this podcast. I've probably blurted out the word semi-passive. Like for example, I wouldn't say Turo is a passive income or Airbnb is passive income. You're like, are you stupid? You know what I mean? Like there's work. You have to be involved to a degree. I get what you're saying and what you're trying to say. At the end of the day,
I understand what you're saying though. Say you had some guy has 10 hours. He makes 15 an hour. He turned 10 hours of his labor into $150 and that's it.
Right.
But let's say you wrote that ebook in 10 hours, which you didn't. Let's say you wrote it in 10 hours, right?
Right.
You turned your 10 hours of work into
something that
couple $1,000.
Right.
That's gonna earn you for at least
an infinite amount. There's even no limit. Now it's just
you did not get people, a fixed amount, fixed pay.
Right. It wasn't I traded my labor for some guy to sign a check and say, here's I literally bought your time. Like, what are you, a robot? You know what I mean? And it's like that's the concept that I'm breaking down to people. Is just like you get some funding so you can leverage it and you can buy your time and then you buy other people's time. Because I know so many people that will happily, gladly trade their time for money. Period.
I kind of believe
put a price on it.
That's what most people are designed to do. I don't think most people can operate like that. Think, let me put this time into this to create this, and like, you know what I mean?
Some people can't fathom the idea, which is like that's half of the reason of this podcast. Is like I don't want to just have all geniuses on here. I want people that are curious like yourself, like people that we can expose this epiphany to. Like guys, like You don't have to be a super genius. You don't have to be special. You don't have to be lucky. This is a real thing where you can live the life that you actually want to live, right? You can, and there's a hard way to do it, easy way to do it, but easiest way, most popular trending way thus far is getting business funding, because anybody could pretty much set up a business as long as you're like maybe 18 years old or something. But even like there's people that are younger than 18 that they're registering their business and they'll find somebody to co-sign, sign on the legal documents, right? Because you know, but it's just like the quickest way, man. Oh, that's another thing I was going to discuss too. One of these rants. It's like, yo, until you guys understand, like your credit needs to be the most top priority, you'll always be broke, bro. There's some people that they keep, I need the money now. Well, I need the money now. I can literally show somebody my bank account and say, hey, credit helped me get all this money that you're saying. They will still rather just like make a few $100s rather than have me help them fix their credit. That concept to me is like, wow, really? Okay. And I get it. Like, can I really actually help you clean up your credit? You know, you're taking a risk. I get it. But it's just like, there's what I can pay you, and then I can teach you how to fish. It's like that dynamic, right? And it's just crazy how some people think, right? They'd rather have $100 today than $100,000 tomorrow.
I always think of it. This is like I do business with him, right? He's like my age, or like a little bit younger, right?
Right.
And he's kind of, I won't say what field he's in. I don't know where this video is going, but I have a lot of respect for him, right? He's a little bit younger than me, and I teach him some technical stuff here and there, right?
Right.
But I watched him literally go from 0 to something.
Really?
Yeah, within like 2 years, and it's really impressive. But here's the thing about him is like, I never considered him like a smart guy. I don't think he is. I honestly think like whatever you measure intelligence with, like IQ, like I think his might be like a little bit below average.
Right.
But he's just good at doing what he's supposed to do. Never he'll upload like he does stuff on YouTube, I think. Just YouTube. I don't know if he has an Instagram.
Yeah.
He doesn't have one, but like he'll upload stuff on YouTube, like motivational quotes, whatever, and I'll talk to him all the time. And I don't think like
he uploads consistently.
Yeah, he's doing that. Like he knows to do that.
How often do you think?
At this point, probably twice a day.
Twice a day on YouTube?
Like no, not full videos, like shorts. He's really good at it, right?
It's amazing.
But here's the thing. It's like he with me talking to him for years, right? Like he has never said something to me that I like thought like, wow, that's very interesting, or that's a great observation, or like that's so profound, right?
I think consistency beats talent.
Yeah, it's
more
like
than people
he's
realize.
not. I never considered him a smart guy, but I have a lot of respect for him because it's just kind of like he's just doing as much as he can, and he's not lazy, and he does things right, like how he's supposed to do them.
Yeah.
And he makes money doing it.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people like that. Like they're not like they're successful, but they're not smart at all. You'll talk to them and they're just kind of really blatant. It's not that they're introverted.
I remember this one guy. I was asking him like, I was at this one guy. He was a very popular like rapper, and I was just trying to pick his brain. I was like, bro, how'd you get all those views? Like, he couldn't explain.
Name or no?
Yeah, he passed away. I won't say his name.
Was he big?
Well, he was like big enough. He was beefing with one of the most famous people from Chicago, and they're both dead. Rest in peace. But I was trying to ask him, like, bro, how you get all these views? How you get all these views? He's like, he couldn't really explain it. I was like, fuck, some people just get lucky. But he genuinely couldn't like repeat his whole formula strategy, or he was like, maybe he did have a secret sauce he didn't want to admit. But we were to the point, you know what I mean? We were cool enough. Like, who the fuck am I going to tell your secret sauce? Like, you're going to keep making your money, getting your millions of views on YouTube. Like, I was excited to work with this guy.
Maybe he was playing an act to you.
But at the same time, I'm like, man, there was just like, Some people are just, I don't believe in luck. Some people are lucky though. I'm not an idiot. Some people do get lucky, but when I find something that no luck required and I can still win, bro, that was just credit, funding, like, cool. But then there's some nuances to it. And, with the Fed rates and the interest rate and the economy and the stock market and everybody worried about a recession, funding ends up getting more difficult. The rules can change. And it's just like, the rules can change, but at least I can still learn those rules. But man, at the end of the day, man, everybody's got to figure something out because it like gets serious now, because when things change, like principles and foundations, right? Yeah, you just got to understand the basics to the best of your ability, so like you don't get caught up off guard, right? Because some people want to hop in and get some results real quick, but if you don't have it really down packed like that, you're gonna be shit out of luck. Period.
But here's the thing, right? It's really weird because like that's like my regular job, right? Like the coworkers I have, they're all very skilled, respectively, in their own field. They're very good at what they do, right?
Right.
But I never like the environment, because it's like every day I think to myself, like whatever position is, like there's an engineer, there's a guy that he's the marketing specialist, right? All of these different positions, like there is no reason with all their skills and knowledge, there is no reason for them to not have like goals to expand outside of work. Each and every one of them.
Right.
Like, so for me, it's like I go to work and I just do whatever to get paid, right?
Right.
I put in the energy and I just get
so
paid
are they.
to survive, right?
So are they.
Just get a check, right?
Right.
But then afterwards, I go home and I apply relatively the same skills into something that I know is like scalable and could have some success. Or at the very least, like trying.
And you don't think they're trying behind the scenes?
None of them are doing that. And
they're
they all
not
could.
just...
In my head, I've literally organized like a relative idea of exactly what they could do.
Okay, but maybe they're
And my
private.
boss says the same thing. He says like, here's what's really interesting about my boss is like he likes the fact that I'm doing work outside of him and like I'm working on projects. And it confuses me because he'll also, if I'm late like to work because of some other project I'm working on, like for example with you, he likes that. Wow. But here's the thing, it's like it's kind of a conflict of interest. Like the more time you're allowing me to do all that is the more
it's almost
increases the likeliness of me leaving you.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I'm glad you brought that up because I've been thinking about that.
As a boss,
yeah.
As a boss, it's like really stupid of him to believe that. But as a person, like as a friend, I guess that's very positive.
That's very
like, hey,
genuine. Yeah.
It's so I never understood it. Like, why are you happy that I'm?
You know what? So look. I'll break it down like this, right?
He agrees with me. He said, Vince, like I've noticed, like most guys, they get what they need to do at work, whatever, and they go home and just like watch TV. That's all my coworkers. That's all of them. Like literally all of them. And I've thought about it for all of them. Like there is something they could literally leave work and use their skills and knowledge to create something for themselves. None of them are doing it. But of course, like a few of them have obligations like kids. I think 2 of them have like a family.
Right.
2 of them have 2 kids. Right. So it's hard to do when you have a whole family organized. That's basically your work after work.
Right.
So that's understandable.
You know what's funny about what you said?
There's the video guy, right? I would say I'm like kind of friends with him. I talk to him a lot, and he's really skilled at what he does. Like he works on set. He's really good at 3D stuff and whatever. I have respect for him. Like he has that vision, and I really see it. But he told me, I'm like, I brought this up one day. I'm like, why don't you do shit outside of work anymore? And he's like, well, I get my creativity fulfilled at work. And like,
well, that's fair. That's fair
doing cool shit, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm also sometimes doing cool shit, but like my perspective is like, at the end of the day, this isn't for me, so it's not fulfilling me creatively, right?
So it's nothing wrong with him saying he's getting fulfillment at work. He's actually living his dream because, like, for us entrepreneurs, I mean, this is 24/7. We don't stop. But some people, sometimes we envy the people that work 9 to 5 and they clock out and they turn their brain off, right? Some people do enjoy watching Netflix and just being able to chill, right? But that there's bro, there is beauty in ignorance. They
Yeah,
say ignorance is
100%. But
bliss. Like let them the non-ambitious people, they work for the people that like got the most drive at the end of the day. That we need workers and we need bosses. Like, so at the end of the day, I
here's
can't
an
even shame
idea.
them.
Like what you said, right? Like they do this and you do this, right?
Right.
With certain concepts like that, I always challenge the idea in my mind. Like I challenge this idea and I always investigate it. Is it that there's different routes for people? Or is it that there's a correct route in an incorrect route? Because there's a lot of things in life, a lot of different aspects, specific like aspects in life, where the general consensus is like, oh, I have my way and I have this way, right? But just like it is extremely evident that there is a right way and a wrong way.
No.
I don't know.
No. Because what's right for you it might not be right for the other person, right?
Sure.
Because it's like what's right for you is like you might say it is my destiny to go to Japan and climb the highest mountain because I heard there's monks up there that can teach me something that nobody else can teach me. You might have your purpose in life. Are you gonna say that to somebody who's paralyzed, who's on a wheelchair? Maybe they're, you know what I mean? So it's like everybody has their different character traits and story path. They gotta find themselves. Some people are probably like if they believe in be reincarnated and they didn't learn the lesson in the last lifetime. So that like the right and wrong is very debatable every time. That's coming from your perspective and from your.
Well, everything is my perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So to say right and wrong is like obvious. We wish common sense was common sense, but damn it.
I can give you an example. This is going to be controversial, and you might probably disagree with this. Maybe, I don't know. Right?
What?
But I kind of had a perspective shift, right? On this specific topic I'm about to bring up, right? The general consensus, especially in the West, and especially with people in my generation, like Gen Z, even millennials probably too, is like, this is going to be controversial.
I'm listening.
But the general consensus is like, there are this is so funny. This is gonna be the funniest introduction, but it's like there's some girls with a low body count and some girls with a high body count, right?
Right.
And it's all about like whatever route they want to take and whatever works for them. And I used to believe that, but now I'm much more kind of, my perspective is now some girl that has a low body count versus high body count. How I see it now is literally there are some people that don't have trauma and people that do.
Exactly.
There are people that are on the wrong route and on the correct route.
Well, I want to address two things you said.
And I'm not referencing, when I say that, like,
nobody's specific.
I'm not making a moral statement.
Exactly. You're not making a moral. Yeah.
Here's also the thing. I'm not referencing like sexual market value or
right.
intersexual dynamics. I'm only referencing the effects of the actions that will have on an individual.
Consequences. And
on an individual level, like
right.
This thing, will it make me happy or unhappy, or will it give me issues?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the girls with a low body count, they probably have this things in commons with other things in commons with the other girls that got low body counts, right? They have their qualities, their traits, and their character traits. They have those things in common. And the girls with a higher quality, but like the ones with the higher body count, they have things in common with the higher body counts. They might have multiple baby daddies, multiple children, multiple stress, or whatever, and they might think a certain way. They might be extremely transactional. There's like these things that they just, if we're gonna say they're facts, maybe they're not hard facts, but it's like a lot of commonalities which make for like, that's what we call common sense. Like this is predictable. You're most likely gonna be like this if you have a lot of body count, and that says a lot about you, period. Right? So a few things you wanted to say. I wanted to respond to like a few things you said, right? Because we're ultimately,
I want to say this though, with that factor, that I think, in my opinion, and there's science about this too,
right?
But what I've observed, most importantly, is there's two factors that determine that if a girl's going to be promiscuous or not. There's two main factors. is their relationship with their parents, or more specifically their father, and if they have childhood trauma.
Right.
So if you don't have a dad and you were in a specific way traumatized as a kid, usually like some sort of sexual assault,
Right.
that's almost a guarantee recipe for sexual dysfunction later in life as a trauma response.
Yeah. Nah, but I wanted to mention this, right? Because you were talking about how your coworkers might not have drive. They might have that, motivation from 9 to 5, but they have no 6 to 9 when they get home. You know what I'm saying? No outside at But here's the thing, and then your boss kind of co-signs your extracurricular activities outside of work where you're trying to make something of yourself. I'm gonna quote like this guy, him 500, right? He's like, if you're only working for me, what the fuck you got going on, right? He's pretty much saying like how his videographers got extra work to do. And like if the only source of income is coming from his pockets, then he's not respecting you as much, because it's like, what sort of hustle? What does that say about your hustle, right?
Yeah.
When he says this, I'm just like, well, wouldn't you want the videographer all to yourself, right? And I'm just like,
the videographer what yourself?
Like, wouldn't you want the videographer all to yourself, to your company, dedicated, because you just got so much content? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of how I described to you. Like, bro, I got so much content that I'm trying to it's a corporate takeover. I'm trying to like buy your company. Like, we're working together. You're still a contractor, but I do want you to work for me. That's long term. It's like, but it's like, if you have other clients, I don't want to know. I don't want to notice that you have other clients, because if you're busy, you're busy. You're too busy for me, and now my stuff's coming in late. Turnaround time is terrible, right? So it's the idea, like, I respect somebody that their hustle is their hustle and they ain't gonna stop getting to the bag, right? In a perfect world, I would want a chief operator of my whole media company side of things. Like, I have a media company, right? I've never stopped that, right? But when he said it, I gotta respect his opinion too. I'm like, damn. So it's like, I guess it just works out if that person is very efficient. Because all I gotta say is, like, if you got other clients, you should make it to the point where you can get my stuff done on time, and I don't notice that you have other clients because you're getting my stuff done on time. That's my only 2 cents on that.
I wanted to say something about that. Maybe I could change your perspective a little bit on it, right?
I'm listening.
Because I remember one time I showed you, like, oh, I'm editing this podcast, right? Like, you say, like, don't mention that you work for other clients, right? You don't like that from me, right?
I don't like that from anybody. Like, I'm gonna let you finish your point.
Let me say this.
All right, go ahead.
If it's interfering with my work for you, then that's an issue. Exactly. But if it's not, then it's very beneficial. And I'll give you an example. Remember one time I showed you this music video I filmed. This is when we just started working with you.
Right.
And there was this one scene, and you watched that, and you were like, you said something really interesting. You were like, that thing you just shot and edited, it was that zoom out.
Yeah, I still remember it.
You were like, that is something that I would not be able to describe to someone to do, right?
Right.
But the thing is, you wouldn't even be aware of any of that if I didn't show you work that I've done for a different client, right? So if it's interfering with your time, then it's an issue. But if it's not, I feel like it's beneficial for me to show you.
In that context, when you put it like that, I see how your logic arrived to that conclusion. But here's the thing. If I come to you on day one and I say, I am overwhelmed, I have 7 podcasts that still need to be edited, and I'm trying to drop weekly, right?
Yeah, that's where I mentioned the interference.
Yeah. So in that context where I'm like, if I don't have time to edit anybody's context, I'm trying to clone myself into you.
Yeah.
So you can get these projects done. But then it's like, then you find time to edit somebody else's podcast. Like, I'm not a jealous person, but like,
there's
literally there's value, but it's a time and place though.
Yeah, okay.
If I felt like if 7 of my podcasts were edited and we can drop, like, I shoot on Thursdays and we're dropping on Fridays, then I'm like, oh, you're also editing their stuff? Damn, when do you sleep, bro? Oh shit. Like, it would be impressive if, like, you're able to handle both. It would be surprising, like, damn, you've got my shit done and this shit done. damn, bro, that's impressive. But it's
Yeah,
like,
so we
damn, if we're
agree.
on like version number 5 and I'm still not satisfied with my podcast, I'm like, how can we sharpen up the skill so that I'm impressed by the work you're doing for me, and then like I can really just give you, because I want to share equity in my business, right? I don't need to be the only one that eats off of this project. A podcast is a hobby that's very, very expensive, and then it could be like. And I've noticed like I want to point this out. Let me make this point, right? Consistency is the only thing that matters. Right? I gotta drop, and then we're missing weeks of posting, right? That affects the potential for the podcast. Another thing that I just noticed, right? I've been posting nonstop on TikTok and Instagram daily, right?
Mm-hmm.
My TikTok has been, when I started the strategy, I was growing. I might have gotten like 500 followers a week, right? Around 8,000, it really capped off. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Something broke. But I didn't break. I kept posting consistently. And now I don't want to jinx this, but I couldn't explain what was outside of my control, why they capped all my views at 1,100 max. Sometimes it would cap at like 300. I don't know. I was in like probation or whatever. They wouldn't even tell me what I did wrong, but all I knew was to stay consistent. Now I'm starting to go viral again, like once in a while. Once in a blue moon, boom, 40,000 views. I'm like, thank you. All I know is consistency beats out everything for the most part. And sometimes you're not going to be able to make sense of consistency, but it's the only thing I can fall back on sometimes, right? You can be consistent in doing the wrong things as well. I'm not going to lie, but it's that concept of like the point I was making to mention that, right? Because it's something that I noticed recently. Just putting in the work, being consistent, and the idea that we got to do this podcast and drop on a consistent basis for it to work. Otherwise, it's like for every week that we miss, it's like almost 2 steps backwards, right?